Hello everyone. So today we'll be looking about how to make a mold base, specifically how to make a parametric mold base. Now, while designing the mold base, many a times often happens that you design the entire mold base, and due to some or the other reason, you need to change that mold base. So, changing that mold base becomes a very hectic task, and many a times the final option what we do is to scrap that mold base and to make the entire new mold base. So, this is not required. There are a few design techniques which will ensure that you change the minimum dimensions and your entire mold base gets changed. So today we'll be looking on those parameters. So we'll start the video. Before starting the video, one thing which we need to understand is what are the parameters which define the size of the mold base. It is nothing but the core and the cavity, especially if we say it is the core block or the core insert, because core insert has various types of ejectors, water coolings and all. So due to some reasons the ejector positions changed, the water cooling needs to be changed, or many a times the orientation of the cavity needs to be changed. Once we change the cavity orientation, the core sizes changes. Because of this, the core plate changes, and hence the entire mold base needs to change. So today in this tutorial we'll be looking about how to change that mold base effectively. So now, since we have understood that the core plate is the one which defines the entire size of the mold base, we'll start the modeling with the core plate. So what I'll do is I'll go in new sketch part, I'll select the front plane, and I'll make the model of the plate, core plate. So we'll assume the plate is of 200 by 200 size and give a proper thickness, say 40 mm, and I'll save it to the place mold base. The name is core plate. So my first plate is ready. Now actually, while making the mold base, what we do is we make separate plates, and then we go in the assembly section, and then we assemble it by using various types of mates, and then we create the assembly of the mold base. But since I said our main aim is not to make a normal mold base, but to make the mold base in such a way that by changing minimum parameters will change the entire size of the mold base. So this is very important. After this, once the core plate is ready, the next step is we'll go and in this option make assembly from part. Once we go, directly click the green button. As you all know, this is the feature of the SolidWorks which makes it as a fixed member. See, you can see the message pops up, the selected component is fixed, it cannot be moved. So once you're done with this, we'll again save this as the mold base. So now we are in the assembly window with our. So now the next important step is we'll make the cavity plate. Now the cavity plate will be above the core plate. So what we will do is we'll go in insert component, new part, and without clicking anywhere, I'll directly click the upper face. As you can see, we are directly gone in the sketch zone or the sketch mode. So again, by front plane, we need to prepare a sketch. Now the most important thing is the sketch which you will be preparing should be it should have relations with the core plate. This is the main, or this is the important step. So normally the core and the cavity sizes are same. So what we will do is once the sketch is prepared ready, I'll give the relations, that is the collinear. Also this becomes collinear. So as you can see, the sketch for the cavity plate is ready. Again exit and then give appropriate thickness. What we can say is 40 mm. Edit component and again save. So now our core and the cavity plates are ready. So we'll make a top plate. Insert component, again the method is same, new part, top plate comes above this plate. So click here. We are on the sketch zone and again make a different sketch. Now, as you all know, one end of the top plate is in line with the core and the cavity plates, while for clamping on the molding machine, there is certain distance, or we can say is 25 mm. Again, the sketch is ready, the appropriate thickness, what I can say 25 mm. So our thickness is top plate is ready. Now the next thing is parallel blocks or the spaces or parallel blocks comes at the down part of the core plate. So again what we will do is I'll go in insert component, new part, and I'll select the down face or the bottom face of the core plate and then make the sketch over here. So I'll select this rectangle, and again as I said, the relations should be with the core plate. So I've made both the sketches. I can give 30 mm, looks very less, 40 mm. And now we have made two different sketches for two different spaces, so it is very important that it should be a single part. So while dimensioning, what we can do is we can give separate dimensions to both the spaces, or else the second option is create a global variable to any one of, see, I've created a global variable over here, and I'm using the same global variable is equal to a 40 over here. So now what happens is if I change one dimension, automatically the other dimension gets changed. We'll have a look later on. So now my sketch for the parallel block is ready. I'll give the thickness what we can say is 70 mm. Edit component. So my parallel blocks are ready. Now the last part is the bottom plate comes at the lower end of the parallel block. So insert components, new part, and select the bottom face of the parallel block. We have the plane ready to sketch for the bottom plate. I'll again select the center rectangle. Now we have one option, we can directly convert entity the sketch of the top plate into the bottom plate, or else the method which we are following, prepare a sketch and then make collinear with the upper sketch. So the sketch for the bottom plate is ready. Again we need to give the thickness is 25 mm. So our mold base is almost ready. The remaining thing is the ejector backplate and the ejector plate. Now if you see, uh, between the bottom plate and the ejector backplate there is a gap wherein there are rest buttons. So it is approximately 4 to 5 mm the distance from the bottom plate. So now we need a plane which is 4 to 5 mm above the bottom plate, so that we can select that plane to prepare a sketch. So before making ejector back plate, what we will do is I'll go in reference plane, I'll select the plane, this face, and the distance that is 4 or you can say 5 mm. So that's it, my plane is ready. You can see I've got a new plane over here, that is plane 1. So again the same method, go in insert components, new part, without clicking anywhere select plane 1. As you can see we are in the sketch mode. So prepare a sketch. Now again for ejector plate, this may or may not be collinear, but we'll assume it the size of the back plate and the ejector plate is same, and there's a distance over it which is approximately 2 to 5 mm. I'll consider it as 2 mm. This, so again the sketch is ready. I'll give appropriate thickness to it, you can say 16 mm, and edit component. And the last and the final thing is the ejector plate. Again insert component, new part, select the plane, and since the size of ejector plate and back plate is going to be same at any cost, what I will do is I'll directly convert entity the sketch. So my sketch for the ejector plate is ready. I'll go in sketch, I'll go in extrude, and 12, that becomes my size for the ejector plate. So our first thing, that is we have prepared a mold base, basic mold base with this method. So the next thing what I have done is I've prepared a sketch for the guide pillar by sketch and cut extrude, and I've transferred these holes. You can see from here I've transferred these holes in the cavity plate by directly using the option as convert entities. So now our mold base is ready, but one thing you can see, if you go into the directory, only the core plate can be seen as the independent part, rest of the parts cannot be seen. Even here in the part tree the names are not proper, so what we will do is first we'll rename all the parts. So now as you can click, this is the cavity plate. You can right click over here. You have the option rename part, that is cavity plate. So now we have renamed this, but still you can see there is a square bracket. Square bracket indicates that this part is not being saved as a different entity or as a separate entity. So again right click, you have the option save part in external file. So you can see, you can go here, select the path and OK. Once this is done, rebuild, you can see the square brackets are gone. Also, if you open the directory, you can find this. One thing that needs to be ensured is once we have saved the part, you cannot rename that part again. So just make sure you rename only at the first attempt properly. So as you can see, I'll click over here. This is top plate and bottom ejector plate, back plate, bottom plate. What I'll do is I'll rename the entire part. So as you can see, I have renamed all the plates right from core plate to the ejector plate. Also I have saved them separately. So if you open the directory, you will find each and every plate as a separate entity. So now comes the main part. You know, while making the mold base, our size was around 200 and even the width was around 200. Now due to some reasons, if I need to change the size from 200 to 300, here is what we need to do. Since we have decided first that our core plate will be the size deciding plate, so I'll edit the core plate. I'll edit this sketch. It was 200 by 200. I'll make it as 300 by 300. Okay, okay. Exit sketch. Everything is ready. Edit component. I'll back to my assembly window and rebuild. As you can see, the entire mold base has been changed from 200 to 300. So I can get a complete new mold and I have uh, need to change all the plates. Also these holes, while making these holes, I said I've transferred these holes into the cavity plate. So I'll edit this sketch again. Say what is 150, I'll make it as 120, 120, 120 and 120. So by making changes in these holes, automatically the holes in the cavity plate are changed. Now comes the each parallel block. Now while making parallel blocks, we had two options, either to give two different dimensions to two different sketches which we made, or else create a global variable. Now what we will do is we'll go in parallel block and directly edit sketch. As you can see, I've assigned a global variable. I've created a global variable and assigned it to the different sketch. The reason is so simple. What I'll do is instead of making changes in both the drawings, I'll make change only in one dimension. From 40 I'll make it as 60. Okay, okay, and then exit sketch. You can see because of global variable, even after changing only one dimension, automatically both the parallel blocks are. The sketch of the ejector plate we had made in such a way that by changing the size of the parallel block, automatically the size of the ejector plate is changed. Now again, we'll do one thing. The size of the mold base is 300 in width and 300 in length. So what we'll do is we'll change the size of any one of the side to 250 from 300. Just make sure whenever we need to change the size, we need to make changes only in the core plate. So I'll again go in core plate, edit part. I'll go in this sketch. I will edit the thing. Now say suppose I need to change this size to 250, 250. Okay, exit sketch, edit component and rebuild. Here I am, I have the new sketch. What I'll do is I'll even modify this sketch. It was 120, I'll make it as 90 mm. So my holes are modified. Again, if you see, the entire mold base becomes from 300 to 300 to 300 in length and 250 in width. So we are done with this. That's all guys. Hope you liked the video. If you have any doubts regarding the tutorial, please feel free to post it in the comment section. Also, if you need some other tutorials regarding SolidWorks or injection molds about any of the core cavity extraction or other things, please feel free to post it in the comment section. Hope you liked the video.